Inside Bankruptcy Court: How Vultures Use the Law to Win. Welcome to Episode 5 of the Art of Vulture Investing. So far, we've learned what vulture investing is, the mindset behind it, and how to find the right failing companies. Now, let's enter a very important and often hidden part of the process. Bankruptcy Court. This is where the real action happens. It's where vulture investors use law, strategy, and negotiation to turn risky deals into real profits. Let's break it down in simple steps. What is bankruptcy? When a company can't pay its bills or debts, it may file for bankruptcy. This is a legal process that allows it to stop paying some debts temporarily, sell its assets, restructure its business, try to survive or shut down properly. There are different types of bankruptcy, but the most important one for vulture investors is Chapter 11. What is Chapter 11 bankruptcy? Chapter 11 is called reorganization bankruptcy. It allows a company to keep running while it tries to fix its finances. Think of it like a hospital for sick companies. They get legal protection from creditors while they try to recover. During Chapter 11, the company works with its creditors, lawyers, and sometimes investors to create a reorganization plan. This plan explains how debts will be paid or reduced, how the company will run in the future, and who gets what. What happens in bankruptcy court? Here's a step-by-step view. The company files for Chapter 11. It tells the court it can't pay debts and needs protection. The court appoints committees. A committee of creditors is formed to represent everyone owed money. A plan is proposed. The company, creditors, and lawyers suggest how debts will be handled. Voting happens. Creditors vote to accept or reject the plan. The judge decides. If the plan is fair, the judge approves it, and it becomes official. This whole process may take months or even years, depending on the case. How vulture investors use the system. Here's where the game gets interesting. Vulture investors often buy debt, like bonds or loans, before or during bankruptcy. When they own enough of this debt, they get a seat at the table. They can join the creditor committee, help shape the recovery plan, negotiate better deals, block unfair plans. Sometimes, they even take control of the company after it exits bankruptcy. Example: turning debt into ownership. Let's say a company owes 100 crore and has CUE 80 crore in assets. It files for Chapter 11. A vulture investor buys CHU 20 crore worth of debt at a discount, maybe for CHU 5 crore. In the recovery plan, the company agrees to give creditors 50% of the new company's shares instead of cash. Now the investor, who bought the debt cheaply, receives part ownership in a healthier, restructured company, and their investment grows in value. That's how debt can become equity and risk becomes profit. George Schultze on bankruptcy strategy. In his book, George explains how important it is to understand the court process. He says, if you don't understand the bankruptcy code, you're playing the wrong game. George often attends hearings, reviews legal filings, and even works with legal teams to shape the outcomes in favor of investors. He believes that winning in court is just as important as choosing the right company. Who's involved in the process? Here are the key players in bankruptcy court. Debtor, the failing company. Creditors, people or firms who are owed money. Trustee, court-appointed monitor. Judge, makes legal decisions. Vulture investors, often part of the creditor group. Lawyers and advisors, represent different parties. Everyone is trying to protect their own interests, and skilled investors know how to negotiate and influence the outcome. How do investors get paid? There are several ways vulture investors benefit from bankruptcy court. Recovery payments. They get back more money than they paid for the debt. Equity swaps. They receive shares in the new company. Asset sales. The company's assets are sold and the money is shared. Litigation wins. If the investor sues or challenges unfair terms, they may get a bonus payout. Key legal terms simplified. Let's understand a few important terms. Automatic stay stops all debt collection while the court decides what to do. Secured debt. Loans backed by assets, like buildings or land. Unsecured debt. Loans not backed by anything. Riskier. Plan of reorganization. The official plan to fix the company and repay debts. Priority. Some creditors get paid before others. Understanding these terms helps investors make smarter choices in court. The risks. Bankruptcy is not easy or guaranteed. The process can be slow. Judges may approve a plan that's less favorable to investors. The company may fail completely, and there may be no recovery. That's why Vulture investors need to be patient, informed, and legally aware. What you learned today. Bankruptcy court is where distressed companies are restructured. Vulture investors buy debt and become part of the recovery process. With smart legal moves, they can turn debt into profits or ownership. Knowledge of court systems gives them an edge in distressed investing. Coming up next. In Episode 6, we'll explore how Vulture investors exit their deals, how they cash out, when they sell, and what they do with restructured companies. Thank you for watching Episode 5 of The Art of Vulture Investing. If you're learning something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your questions in the comments.